That's not Logan on the cover. It's a 41-year-old teacher. He looks just like Logan, though.
Argo Font Book Review, Argo Font Book Review.
This book was written by Ellen Miles. It's announced that the school is having its first ever Halloween dance this year. First ever if you ignore the dances from books 2, 17, and 38. Continuity! Oh wait, this dance is called the Halloween Masquerade. I guess that makes it totally different. The Halloween Masquerade was canceled 28 years ago after a tragic accident. The vice principal does a downright terrible job of trying to keep the accident a secret.
We'll need lots of volunteers to make sure this dance is a success. Let's erase those unpleasant memories of the past and have a ball.
Yeah, he's practically begging the students to gossip about the tragedy. For the sake of the plot, Stacey joins the decorations committee. It's run by a new teacher named Michael Rothman. Grace, Cookie, and Claudia are also on the decorations committee. Stacey takes great pleasure in seeing Cookie get outvoted on every decision. I thought Stacey was surprisingly vicious here. Cookie wants pumpkins and witches. That sounds totally fine for a Halloween dance. But Stacey thinks that's so boring and old-fashioned. Get a life, Cookie! Instead, they decide the theme of the dance will be the Addams Family, because black and white TV shows are totally not old-fashioned. A hunky new student named Carrie Retlin arrives at school. He entertains everyone by reading a funny book out loud. When Stacey passes by him, he falls backwards out of his chair, and he recovers by winking at her. Wow, that is some major flirting. So the narrator has a hunky love interest, and she makes art decorations. Was this originally supposed to be a Claudia book? The next day, the school is attacked by the Mischief Knights. These pranksters write messages on boards and put silly things in people's lockers. They're supposed to be fun, harmless pranks, but they also steal a teacher's gradebook. That's the sort of thing that get you into major trouble. Luckily for the Mischief Knights, no one at the school is smart enough to draw the obvious connection between the new students and the new pranksters. Stacey only figures it out at the end when Carrie dresses up as a knight. She confronts him, and he teases her with half answers. He flirts with her some more. And yeah, if this was a Claudia book, I would totally want Claudia to date Carrie. They would be a cute couple. In the subplot, all the kids in town are obsessed with the movie Ghostbusters. They make costumes and go ghost hunting. Abby scares the Pike kids, while the Arnold kids find a squirrel in their attic. The Mischief Knights toilet paper the school, soap teachers' cars, reset all the clocks, and make a fake announcement over the PA system. Perhaps the school should get a security guard. So the Mischief Knights are the first suspect. The next two suspects are Grace and Cookie, as usual. Cookie might want revenge because people were mean to her earlier. Grace might be trying to hide the fact that she doesn't have a boyfriend. These are pretty iffy motives. Normally Cookie wouldn't be sharing gossip with Stacey, and normally Stacey would never listen to Cookie's dumb ideas. But this is the mystery series, and having more suspects takes priority over making sense. The fourth suspect is Mr. Wetzler, a cranky man who thinks the dance is a waste of money. We have 4 suspects and no mystery yet. Kinda weird. The mystery shows up 40% of the way through, when the culprit destroys all the decorations and Claudia's posters. They use spray paint to write, "Will you still love me tomorrow?" and $10. This is so mysterious, the girls decide to investigate. So, 28 years ago, there was a huge stampede at the dance. Someone turned off the lights and pulled the fire alarm. One of the teachers had a heart attack and died. Old yearbooks confirm Mr. Rothman and Mr. Wetzler were both in school that year. To be honest, this should make them the only suspects. None of the 13-year-old suspects know anything about the dance drama from 3 decades ago. History repeats itself. The lights go off during a school assembly, the kids scream, start a stampede, and someone's arm is broken. I'm not sure why the kids panic. They're sitting in the gym in the middle of the day with the lights off. It's honestly not that frightening. Stacey talks to Mr. Wetzler. He mentions an 8th grade girl named Liz Connor, who was jilted at the dance and never returned to school. The babysitters aren't sure how to learn more about her when Logan says they can check the school records. All of the babysitters are confused at this remark because records? What do music albums have to do with the mystery? Oh my gosh, they are so stupid. How do they not know what school records are? They're 8th graders, seriously. The girls break into the off-limits records area. The records say Mr. Rothman has an extreme fear of heights. Because of course that's the sort of information the school puts in his permanent record. The records also say Liz Connor lived in what is now Charlotte Johansson's house, so when Stacey babysits Charlotte, she secretly searches for clues. She finds a heart with Mr. Rothman and Liz's initials. Mr. Rothman explains Liz was a shy girl with a crush on him. His football buddies dared him $10 to take her to the dance. It was a nice date, even though she wore a silly pink princess costume. He got cold feet and ran away during the last song, which was Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow? The football players laughed at Liz and she ran away too. The stampede happened shortly afterwards. I'm honestly surprised Mr. Rothman doesn't tell anyone else about Liz. That would be useful information to tell his boss, the principal, since the culprit is clearly one of the few people who know the story. The culprit is Liz. She reveals herself at the dance when she secretly switches places with Mr. Rothman's date. He's shocked to see her, everyone's terrified, and one person even screams. Which makes no sense because none of the students know who she is. Would you scream to see an unknown adult standing with a teacher? No. The book skips ahead several days because who wants to see what happens next? Everyone? Everyone wants to see what happens next. Why did you skip over that, book? We're told in passing that Liz laughed hysterically. Mr. Rothman took her outside and she was sent to a mental hospital, never to be seen again. The end. Post-book follow-up. I was surprised at how good this book is. The ending is particularly scary as a violent maniac seeking revenge tricks her way into Mr. Rothman's arms, reenacting the humiliation from 28 years ago. Now granted, Liz doesn't do anything, but if this was another book, he would be dead right now. He would be so dead. The investigation was good too. We have 4 investigation chapters in a row. The story slowly unfolds as the girls check 6 different sources. That's so much better than the mysteries where they only investigate 1 or 2 things. It works much better when the detectives actively try to solve the mystery. Normally they don't try, they just happen to be around when sabotage occurs. The weakest part of the mystery is probably the suspects. Grace and Cookie are obviously innocent, the Mischief Knights are clearly innocent too, but I actually like their subplot. Figuring out who their leader is ended up being an interesting mini-mystery. Could we get more mini-mystery subplots? That would fit this series so much better than pointless babysitting subplots. Speaking of, I liked how babysitting Charlotte helped Stacey solve the mystery, making the babysitting relevant for once. Overall, it is a strong entry in the mystery series with good investigation, decent characters, and a scary ending. I hope we get more books like this one. I give Babysitter's Club Mystery number 22, Stacey and the Haunted Masquerade, a 9 out of 10. I took off a point for minor things, like the fact that they introduced all the suspects and their motives before introducing the mystery. That's doing it backwards. And you might have noticed that the suspects more or less disappeared halfway through the book. That's not so good either. Still a very good book, though.